All right, this is episode number 21 of Fresh and Uncooked. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is the food podcast to listen to learn about new products and menu items, general food discussion, food reviews, taste tests, and even today's topic, Jeff, which is what?
Nachos.
Nachos. But first, some food news. We got a sugar cookie theme coming in this holiday season.
All right.
Is Little Debbie getting a little crazy for Christmas? And the original gourmet jelly bean, but covered in dark chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Food news.
So first, Jeff, it's not really a specific story about a specific brand. Obviously, the holidays are here. It's December.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of a sugar cookie theme happening. And what I mean by that is like, a lot of staples in the candy department are coming out with sugar cookie flavored things. Like you can get a Hershey bar that's sugar cookie flavored. It's like the holiday theme for a lot of candies. I've kind of noticed that at the stores. Hershey's Kisses has a sugar cookie. Some gingerbread things are out there too. But I've just noticed a lot of things. M&M's. I believe I saw Tootsie Roll that were like white snowballs. I don't know if they're sugar cookie or not, but it's just a lot of sugar cookie happening. How do you feel about that?
Sugar cookies? I guess when you think of Christmas cookies, sugar cookies come to mind right away for me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But
sugar cookie
I thought
and gingerbread.
I feel that there's been more of a push towards gingerbread over the past few years because everybody's making gingerbread houses now.
Yeah.
As a kid, I never made a gingerbread house. I thought it was just like a fairy tale thing.
Yeah, as a kid, I never had, but as an adult, I have made gingerbread houses.
See, there you go.
I think there's Kit Kat gingerbreads. I don't know if that's new this year, but yeah, there was a lot of gingerbread things happening. But now this year seems to be sugar cookie. So if you're a big fan of sugar cookie flavor, then which I guess is just sugar, right? Then you should be happy checking out the holiday candy aisle this season for sure. So,
I'm sure people are very excited about it.
And I was just trying to confirm a couple of things, and I came across some Twinkies that are limited for the holiday season, Jeff. They're mint chocolate Twinkies.
Oh, that's disgusting. Now, I must say, since Twinkies have come back, they're not the same. And I hate to sound like that old man, but Twinkies are not the same as they were. Not since Hostess came back and everything. They're just not the same.
You know what? I don't know if I've had Twinkies since they've come back. I don't really know how many Twinkies I've actually had in my entire lifetime, to be honest. I mean, it's cake, and I'm not big on cake. But when I saw the mint chocolate Twinkies, if I see these in the grocery store, I'm buying them. Chocolate.
Why?
It's the chocolate cake with mint filling. I'm a big chocolate mint guy, so maybe that's why.
Okay.
Maybe they're nasty. Maybe they're not. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there too.
Yeah, I've been trying Twinkies maybe once a year to hope that somehow they get better, and they don't.
How could they be so different? It's just cake with cream filling. Like, what's so different?
They're different. They're just different.
Huh.
There's the consistency, the texture. The texture is the big thing where it's different.
Okay.
The texture of the cake, it seems a lot more firm and not as fluffy and light as it was when I was a kid.
Okay. Fair enough.
The biggest disappointment with Hostess, though, is the cherry pies and the blueberry pies that you can only find at a gas station, it seems like. Those are garbage now, too. And those were delicious. Absolutely delicious.
What about Little Debbie stuff? Did you ever... I mean, those are, besides Hostess, Little Debbie's kind of the other classic, packaged snack cake from at least back in our day.
Like zebra cakes?
Zebra cakes, yep. That zebra cakes definitely ruled the elementary school lunch boxes.
Are you a big fan of those type of cakes, the zebra cakes?
Zebra cakes are fine. I would not be upset if someone served me as a zebra cake or a Swiss roll. But if we're talking Little Debbie specifically, I'm going in for the Nutty Buddies.
So do they do the Nutty Buddy or the Nutty Bar?
They do the Nutty Buddies.
So the Nutty Bar, isn't that a Little Debbie's too, or is that somebody else who makes that?
It must be somebody else because I know Little Debbie calls them Nutty Buddies.
They're the long chocolate wafer type things.
Peanut butter, yeah.
Yeah, and they're so messy. They're disgustingly messy if you don't...
Messy?
They're messy.
What? How exactly are you eating these, Jeff? They're not messy.
I don't know. I remember my grandpa used to get them, and he never refrigerated them. They were in the bread box with the bread.
I don't think they're supposed to be refrigerated, but...
Are they supposed to be refrigerated?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I feel that they should. Well, there's too much peanut butter going on, and it dries me out, and just not a fan. And the zebra cakes, too.
Yeah, I like the zebra cakes. They're cool. They're cool looking. White and black, it's like a zebra. I guess that's probably why they call them zebra cakes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Jeff, we're not talking about zebra cakes or Nutty Buddies. I want to talk about Little Debbie's Christmas tree cakes. Have you ever had
They're
one of those?
zebra cakes, but they're just in a Christmas tree form with different color frosting.
Yeah, it's white frosting, yellow cake. Of course, it's shaped like a Christmas tree, covered in white frosting, green and red trimming. Yeah. I like those too. I'm a fan of those. But they've taken it a step further. Limited edition Christmas tree cake ice cream is coming to Walmart for the holidays.
What is Walmart doing? What is Walmart doing? Every week we have some type of news where something new's
like
coming to Walmart.
Exclusive, yeah.
Oh, it's the most indulgent, gluttonous thing that you can think of that they have in their freezer.
Almost seems to be the case too. Like it's always like, oh, this thing's coming out, but only Walmart wanted to buy it, so we're just gonna call it a Walmart exclusive.
Know your audience.
Everyone
Walmart.
else was just like, that's too much. We're gonna pass on that. Vanilla-based ice cream, yellow cake chunks, green sprinkles, and red icing, just like the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes have on them. So
it sounds so sweet.
This holiday season, Jeff.
Just take my big toe. Just take my big toe now.
Little Debbie ice cream tree cake. Little Debbie Christmas tree cake ice cream. Can't even say it right. So full disclosure, both Jeff and I have worked with Jelly Belly in the past, actually.
Yes.
With, radio promotions and advertising. So hello to our friends in the marketing department over at Jelly Belly. But I mean, I don't know about you, Jeff, but even if I never did work with them in the past, I would easily, hands down, say they have the best jelly bean out there.
I think those are probably the only jelly beans that I eat nowadays.
Yeah. They got the crazy flavors, fun flavors. Like they even have flavors that like just don't belong in a jelly bean, but they make them because that's just what they do. Ones that I wouldn't even think about buying, but their flavors are just like on point. If it says what it's supposed to taste like, you will bite into that jelly bean, start chewing, and it tastes just like it says it's going.
Right.
Well, anyway, there's a new item for the holidays this year, and it's a dark chocolate covered, very cherry jelly bean.
Ooh.
So kind of like the chocolate covered cherries that they're always around for the holidays. The, a little tray of 6 or whatever in a box.
Right. Yeah. My wife gets those for me for my stocking stuffers. Those are really, those are big for me. You can get them at the dollar store pretty cheap too.
My dad was big on those.
Yeah, they're delicious.
So this is a jelly bean, which will probably taste just like that because if Jelly Belly says they're making a popcorn flavored jelly bean, it's going to taste like popcorn. So I would think that these would probably taste just like those cherries.
Yeah.
If Jelly Belly's doing it. So those are out this year from Jelly Belly.
Very interesting.
I'm sure we'll have more holiday candy cookie news as we get even closer to New Year's and holidays and all that stuff. But that's your food news. So, Jeff, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was really good. The turkey, for whatever reason this year, it was not dry.
Oh, yeah?
It was good. I just had a small amount. And my collard greens, I think I spoke last episode about me making collard greens.
Yeah.
Not only were these the best collard greens that I ever made, they're quite possibly the best collard greens I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
And I'm not one of, and I don't toot my own horn about anything that I make or what have you. Yeah, first time. But they were really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about yours?
Mine was fine. I had back pain all day.
Oh man, that's horrible.
So, I mean, it actually wasn't that fun, but the food was awesome. My brother went down to one of my brothers, and he cooked everything and nailed everything. Is, no surprise there. One thing that kind of stood out this year is he had shrimp cocktail, right? Like kind of in like a cocktail glass, where I think we talked about this last episode too. Mm-hmm. We don't do a buffet for Thanksgiving. We do sit down. You got your plate and your napkin and, all the silverware, but there was a glass, and you could either get, fruit cocktail, shrimp cocktail, or spicy shrimp cocktail.
So what was the spicy shrimp cocktail? What?
There's a steakhouse in Indianapolis called St. Elmo's. I don't know if you've ever heard
World
of
famous.
that.
World famous.
Okay. They are famous for their shrimp cocktail sauce. It blows your head off. It's so spicy. Like the horseradish that they get, I don't know if it's a certain region they get it from, or what exactly is the dilly behind it, but it's awesome. I've actually been there at St. Elmo's and had the shrimp cocktail maybe like 10 years ago. They now sell the sauce at certain retailers. I've seen I've seen it at Costco, actually.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where my brother got it, but it says right on there, like extremely spicy, and it's like horseradish spice, right? So it's not like you just chewed on a, ghost pepper. It's like, it hits you, it clears your sinuses. It's just so intense. And when I realized when one of my other brothers took a bite, and he was just like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And my brother started saying, "Oh, it's St. Elmo's," and I was just like, "Oh, I've had that." I'm like, "This is awesome." And yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
It's an experience, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, my back is better now, but I've had some back pain the last few weeks. Thanksgiving Day was the worst day of all of it, of course.
Oh.
So that kind of sucked. But yeah, the food was great. Thanksgiving, leftovers. How was the bread pudding this year, Jeff?
Oh, it was great.
Good.
Yeah, it was awesome. It didn't last past Sunday night.
Yeah, last Sunday nights when we finished, we took leftovers home, and it's when we finished them up. Didn't make any Thanksgiving sandwiches this year, just kind of reheated the leftovers. But Thanksgiving is always good.
Yeah, the greens. I had a lot of the greens. Well, I made a lot of greens because you just don't know how much to make because they cook down so much. But we had some leftover greens, and I had that over the weekend. Yeah,
I'll have to try your recipe sometime. I've never made greens, but I love them.
Yeah, it's simple.
So we decided to talk about nachos because why not? It has nothing to do with this time of year, but it kind of does have something to do with this time of year because nachos can be eaten any time of the year. It's not a summer food. It's not a holiday food. It's nachos, man. Right?
Yeah, they're not seasonal, not by any means.
They're just fun. You can't really have a bad time eating nachos.
No.
They're a great snack, appetizer, whatever, but they can be a meal at the same time.
Absolutely.
If you can turn a snack into a meal, then it just doesn't get any better than that, right?
Well, I don't know, Chris. I mean, I've turned a bag of Doritos into a meal, so
Dorito nachos. So I don't know if you know the answer to this, Jeff, but do you know where nachos were invented?
I do not.
So do you think it was the United States? Do you think it was Mexico? Or do you think it was Italy?
Oh, Italy's in there. See, that's the one that's furthest from my mind right now. But I'm still going to go with the United States.
United States. Okay. Well, it was actually Mexico.
Oh, okay.
The first plate of nachos was made just outside the Texas border in the 1940s by a Mexican chef for a few American women.
How about that?
Yeah, I guess they went in, they wanted to try like a different snack. And Ignacio El Nacho Anya went back into the kitchen, grabbed some tortillas, cut them into triangles, fried them up, covered in cheese, sliced jalapenos, and served it. And the American women loved it, and they wanted to know what he called it, and he really didn't have an answer. So they said, okay, Mr. El Nacho, we'll call it Nachos Special. That's how it started up in the 40s in Mexico.
How about that?
In 1976, a modified version of the dish came with a cheese sauce and like prepared tortilla chips, like you and I would go to the store, go to the snack aisle and buy tortilla chips.
Mm-hmm.
They were marketed by Frank Liberito, who owned Rico's products and served them during Texas Ranger baseball games at Arlington Stadium. And those became known as ballpark nachos.
All right.
And I go to a lot of baseball games. I go to several every year. And I'd have to say every other time I go see a White Sox game, I'm probably getting nachos.
I'm right there with you.
Probably not every time, but probably every other time.
Right. Any type of event where there's nachos. So if it's a sporting event or a concert or I don't know. Mostly sporting events and like concerts, it seems like. That's where you normally get nachos. The movie theater, I don't need popcorn. Give me those nachos.
Oh, I've never done nachos at a movie theater.
You haven't?
I'm more traditional at the movie theater, Jeff. I go with the popcorn.
All right.
But I'm not going to look at you funny if you got nachos. You know what I mean? And those are just like your basic, plastic tray with the tortilla chips and the cheese to dip it in, right? I mean, it's
nothing fancy. Now, Chris, since we're talking about locations where you can get nachos and you've never done it at the movie theater.
No, never.
Had the nachos there. How about it from a gas station?
I have never had nachos from a gas station.
I have. They were good.
Nachos, yeah, you can serve nachos at a gas station. Now, if you said, Chris, this gas station on the corner down the street there has the best sushi in the world, I'd start questioning you, Jeff. But nachos at a gas station, sure. I mean, we're not talking like loaded nachos, right? We're just talking your basic
we're talking about nachos
here.
In their simplest form.
Yeah.
Just chips and cheese. And when I say cheese, I'm using that term very loosely.
The cheese
or I'm
sauce.
using quotation marks or something like that.
Yeah.
But that stuff is the best. When you try to use real cheese on nachos, it doesn't work out the same way. It has to be that cheese sauce.
Yeah, you got to have that modified cheese sauce. When I make them at home, I usually do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Get the chemical cheese out and sprinkle some real cheese just to, I don't know why, I just do. But, now you just went to Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
Not too long ago, but barbecue nachos are served in a lot of barbecue restaurants down there and at sporting events where they put pulled pork on top of tortilla chips with cheese and barbecue sauce and jalapenos.
Yeah.
I mean, that just
even here
good.
in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, we have barbecued nachos quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm. Hawaii, they kind of do the same thing, but with their kula pork and pineapple.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great.
I don't like the pineapple part of that, but kula pork's so good. I
would imagine the way that the pineapple and the pork work together, it's perfect.
I'm sure. I just something about pineapple. And they got fast food nachos, which you think if gas station nachos you're giving a high rating to. Fast food nachos can kind of be disappointing sometimes.
Do you think so?
I mean, how do they screw it up? And I'm talking Taco Bell.
All right.
At least like the Nacho Bel Grande. Now you talked about Twinkies not tasting the same, right? As they were. I'm putting that out there for Nachos Bel Grande and Taco Bell. That's my go-to order. If Taco Bell's got a new taco, I'm probably going to try one of those with Nachos Bel Grande. If Taco Bell doesn't have anything new, I'm probably just getting a couple tacos and a Nachos Bel Grande. Whatever I'm getting at Taco Bell, Nachos Bel Grande is always there and has been for years, right?
Yeah.
It's so different now. So different. I don't know what's different.
I think the chips are different. I think the beans are different.
Has shrunk. I know that. But but it's just not the same, but I still get it. And maybe that's why I'm always disappointed. Excited to go, but disappointed to leave. To finish Taco Bell.
Now, Chris, do you make any not notifications, any modifications to your nachos when you get them from Taco Bell? The Nachos Bel Grande?
No, actually, I don't. Maybe I should. You got some suggestions?
Well, Chris, since I have that Taco Bell app, and you know how I feel about those apps.
Maybe that's what I got to do. Maybe I just skip the drive-through and just app it.
Well, yeah, I just ordered beforehand, and then I go through the drive-through and tell them, hey, I'm here to pick up my order.
Yeah.
But we just had them over the weekend. I think it was the weekend it wasn't too long ago that we had them. So I always get mine with the steak. And I'm not a big steak person by any means, but for whatever reason, when Taco Bell comes out with something that's steak, I try it and I love it. I enjoy very cheap steak.
You like the Taco Bell steak. Okay.
Love it. Love it. I think it's great. So I always get mine with the steak, and then I get their guacamole as well.
Okay.
Their guacamole's all right. It's Taco Bell guacamole, but that's the way, if you do that, I don't know. I feel like it's all right. They usually seem to put enough on. There's always good coverage.
Yeah. It can be a little sloppy at times.
It can. You might have to grab a fork or a spork or whatever utensil you choose to eat your nachos with.
You definitely need to clean up with the fork for sure. Actually, I kind of have a system. Since I always get the nachos, open those up first, right? And then I kind of use that as everything to catch, from eating the tacos. I eat the taco right above the nacho, so everything kind of falls onto the nacho too. In case the taco's a little messy, everything's falling down. Might as well fall down on the nachos and then you eat your nachos.
Yeah, that's ingenious. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I'm going to adapt that. I'm going to. Wow.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean,
it makes so much sense.
Yeah. You open the wrapper of the taco and you got like some lettuce or some cheese just in the wrapper. You might as well just shake that right off right into the nacho.
Wow.
Dude, come on.
It's so simple, but man.
Nacho 101,
Yeah. What have I been doing wrong all these years?
So how do you feel about Irish nachos?
What are Irish nachos?
Oh, come on. You've never heard of Irish nachos?
I don't think so.
You always see them at like state fairs, some sporting events. They're out there. It's not too crazy. I'm kind of surprised actually. It's basically just instead of tortilla chips, it's basically potatoes.
Oh, like tachos?
Tachos.
Were there tater tots and then they put things on top of them?
Yeah, I've seen them in waffle fries. I've seen them tater tots. I've seen them just fries.
But those aren't nachos.
Well, they're Irish nachos because they're potatoes. That's just what they're called.
They're loaded potatoes. They're loaded fries. There's no chips involved. In order to be nachos, there needs to be chips that are involved.
Well, there's nacho cheese.
No. It's not nacho cheese because there's no nachos. It's just cheese sauce at that point in time.
Yeah, it's nacho cheese sauce and typical, nacho toppings, just no tortilla chips. It's waffle fries or tater tots or just fries. Basically,
Chris, I'm thinking that those are just loaded potatoes. They're loaded waffle fries. They're loaded French fries. They're tachos.
Cheese fries, right?
Yeah, just cheese. Yeah, but those have nothing to do with nachos. Nothing at all.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go on that. Well, you will not be seeing Jeff have any Irish nachos. In fact, if he sees a vendor serving Irish nachos, he's going right up to them. And he's going to demand an explanation, I think.
I will. If I see a sign that says Irish nachos, I will be like, sir, what is this?
At Fresh Uncooked on Twitter, please, everybody, start sending Irish nacho signs to Jeff.
I've never even heard that. I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
You're going to start seeing it everywhere.
Probably.
Everywhere.
I'll be starting tonight.
Like, man, I know what Chris was talking about. So besides potatoes, what is a key to good nachos? What do you think is the most important part of a nacho?
The nacho chips, the tortilla chips.
The chips, not the cheese.
What Ignacio El Nacho created.
Yeah. But you were saying you can't use real cheese. You got to use the cheese sauce. Is that more important than the chips?
No, I mean, you can use the real cheese, but I like the fake stuff better.
Well, you could make real fake stuff too.
Oh, but it's just not the same. There's something about, how you've talked in previous episodes too, how you like Kraft macaroni and cheese, right?
Sure.
And there's a certain way that Kraft macaroni and cheese turns out.
It's amazing. Powder, butter, and milk.
Right.
Turns into dinner.
Yeah, it's delightful. But nacho cheese, I feel, is the same way too. Like that actual nacho cheese sauce. It has to be that cheese sauce. And I know you can make a cheese sauce out of real cheese, but there's something about that fake.
Yeah. It's
there's something about it. Yeah, there's just something about it. It's not the same.
So, but more important than the chip? Or is the chip more important than the cheese?
I would say maybe the chip is more important than the cheese, because if you have bad chips.
Can you have bad chips? I mean, you can have really good chips.
You could have really good chips.
But I don't know if you can have bad chips. Unless there's those chips that are flavored with lime. You know what I'm talking about? The tortilla chips with like the lime salt or powder on them.
Yeah, I don't know what people's problem is with that.
Gross.
Yeah, why do they do that? I don't understand. All of a sudden, everything it's lime infused. That makes it authentic Mexican. No, come on now.
No, that if anything is going to qualify as a bad chip, that's about it that I can think of.
I agree with you on that.
So good chips, fake cheese, and I'd have to say a good ratio, good coverage.
Mm-hmm.
You might not need 4 pounds of meat on top of the nachos, but you definitely need good coverage of the cheese. Like
yes.
If you're going to have loaded nachos, then, you're going to get the occasional chip with just, cheese on it. And that's fine. As long as there's no naked chips happening.
Right. Well, sometimes it's good to have the naked chips because when you have those chips that have been there for a while and they get very saturated and they're really flimsy, you can use those chips that didn't have as much coverage to pick up and scoop those other chips.
That's true. That is true. But if you're having soggy chips, you're just not eating it fast enough is what I think is happening. But.
Well, this is a trick that I do. When we go to the movies or someplace, wherever you get the cheese in a separate container or in a little separate compartment in the particular container, what I will do is I will put maybe 4 nachos in that cheese and let them sit till the very end.
You like dunking them like Oreos in milk kind of a thing?
Yeah, I let them sit there and then they absorb all that cheese and then they're real flimsy and you just eat them and, it's
interesting.
An experience.
Those would be really soggy.
Oh, yeah.
The texture's just gone at that point.
Yeah, it's gone. They pretty much dissolve in the cheese.
Gum. No. If we're gonna build some loaded nachos, you going with steak? Or are you going with Taco Bell steak? Are you going with ground beef? Are you going with like pulled pork or shredded pork?
Pulled pork or shredded pork is probably ideal.
Nachos, cheese. What about jalapenos?
Jalapenos, good way to go.
Beans?
Beans? I like beans.
Would you rather go like refried beans, like kind of how Bel Grande is?
Yeah, refried beans. Refried
like
black beans.
Black beans, like kind of whole, but, sprinkled about the nachos.
No, I like the refried beans. And if they're refried black beans, I think that's even better.
Yeah, I agree with you on the refried part for sure. You gotta have sour cream.
No.
You gotta have sour cream.
Oh, sour cream's overrated.
I was wondering how you're gonna react to that.
I feel that was there was very much an anticipation for a reaction on that one.
It was not set up on purpose until I said it.
So rather than a sour cream, I'd rather have guacamole.
Guacamole, yeah.
How about for you?
I'd go sour cream way over guacamole, but that's because I'm just not crazy about guacamole. And I almost think guacamole's I know nachos. If you're going loaded nachos, you're being obsessive or excessive.
Uh-huh.
But just throwing guacamole on top of nachos, I almost think if you're a big fan of guacamole, you're losing the taste of the guacamole by, putting it in on top of nachos, right?
It's almost overkill.
Yeah. I mean,
that's interesting. That makes a lot of sense.
I guess I wouldn't use a really good guacamole, maybe a pretty bland guacamole. And if you just needed some creaminess as like a substitute sour cream, maybe, perhaps I could see it. But I don't know. I almost think it's just too much. You're probably not going to taste too much of it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. How do you feel about tomatoes on the nachos too?
Yeah, it's more of like a garnish though, Jeff. I mean, little chopped up tomatoes just for color, just for presentation, just the kind of like chefy side of me saying, yeah, it needs a little sprinkle of tomatoes on top. You're not tasting them. They're probably not good tomatoes anyway.
I like tomatoes.
Yeah.
No, I think
it's not
tomatoes
like we're
play an
putting
important
wedges
part.
of tomatoes on there. They're probably diced up like they would be going into a salsa or something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, diced tomatoes.
Yeah, just to make them look neat. Maybe a little green onion.
I'm good with green onion. Absolutely. Okay. Green or red onion. Those are the only onions that I really like.
Yeah, I think green onion fits a little better for nachos than red onion.
Mm-hmm.
But red onion's diced up pretty good. would be fine. Hot sauce?
No, I normally don't do hot sauce on top.
Yeah, well,
I
you're going to get the jalapenos.
Yeah, with everything else on there, I feel that it's almost overkill, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely overkill nachos. Black olives are good.
Yeah, I'd go green olives, but I wouldn't mind a couple olives on there. It's almost like the tomato. You know, it's just...
Wait, you put green olives on nachos?
Yeah. Well, I don't like black olives.
Okay, so green olives on nachos.
I do green olives.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, well, I think green olives is a little more true to Mexico than black olives.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just trying to be authentic here, you know?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Once you say like authentic, people, that's one of the words when people describe food as far as like it being authentic.
Yeah.
It's usually not authentic.
Well, we know from history that it was just cheese and jalapenos. So
right. So
this is already,
anything other than that,
already way overstepped authentic, true Mexican first ever nachos. But I wouldn't mind even some chopped up cilantro thrown on top.
Oh, I love some cilantro.
And a squeeze of lime.
But not on the chips.
No, oh God, no. No, this is after the chips are well protected from all of these toppings. And it's probably sliding off the plate, you know, a little splash of lime just to give it a final little kiss, you know?
Yeah.
That's loaded nachos right there. And if you want to substitute the chips with some waffle fries, then they're Irish nachos.
There's no way I'm getting behind that.
Let us know what your favorite way to eat nachos are. Are loaded nachos just almost too much? Or is just some good old like ballpark, fair style, movie, theater style nachos the way to go? Let us know. Check us out on social media at Fresh Uncooked on Twitter, at Fresh Uncooked on Instagram. Also over on TikTok at Fresh Uncooked Podcast. Find us over there.
Good deal.
I actually had some carnitas tonight, Jeff, and I have leftover pork. Know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Some carnitas nachos.
Wow.
Until next week, Jeff.
Enjoy what you eat.